Hello and welcome back to the 9 News Business Buzz, where we take out what's happening in business, how it impacts you and our economy. I'm Ryan Frazier, 9 News business expert, and I'm joined by Ed Sealover of the Colorado Chamber of Commerce and the editor of the Sum and Substance. Ed, what are you working on these days?
Well, I've been working on a lot of workforce development initiatives, some of which you can read about at tsscolorado.com, others of which we're going to talk about right now.
You know, the College Board, the group famously known for the AP courses and SAT, is making a major pivot. They are launching a new career kickstart courses aimed at getting students into high-demand careers, not just getting them college credits. And this move seems like it's a direct response to the massive skills gap we continue to face in Colorado and across the country. Unlike traditional AP courses, these courses are focused on project-based learnings and industry credentials to prepare students directly for workforce needs. Now, the Colorado data is stark. We have 1.2 job openings for every unemployed person in the state. We also know that 95.1% of jobs paying a family-sustaining wage require a post-secondary credential, but only 62.9% of Colorado adults actually have one. Is this move by the College Board an admission that the traditional college for all model isn't enough to fill the gap?
Well, I think it's not just an admission by the College Board, but it's an admission by everyone who's involved in workforce development, that we may have spent the last 40 years sending too many kids onto four-year degrees that didn't need four-year degrees, especially in areas like the skilled trades, where you can get into it and you can make a sustainable career without a four-year degree. What we've heard from businesses across the state at the Chamber for the past couple of years is we just don't see the skills being taught out there right now. We're seeing kids coming out of high schools, out of other areas, and they're just not carrying the ability to start off. So when you're focusing on something like cybersecurity especially, you're digging into an area where there is particular need and saying, here's where we're going to start getting these kids the skills they need.
Yeah, this skills gap, whether it be middle skills gaps or soft skills gap, it's continued to persist here in our state. Now, let's look at the courses. The cybersecurity class is described as hands-on, using simulations and offering industry credentials. The Business with Personal Finance course is project-based, focused on product development, marketing, and financial management. Ed, how are these different from traditional vocational technical VOC education, and what does it mean for a student who completes one? Will they get a certificate that a major Colorado company will actually recognize for hiring?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you think about traditional VOTech, it's usually been described as an alternative as going to college. These are saying these can be an alternative, or it can be part of your college experience. The cybersecurity course, for example, that they're going to be starting in the school year that begins in the fall of next year, I should say, is one in which they will be able to graduate both with college credits, if they want to use them, or an industry-recognized certificate. And the College Board worked really hard to make sure this is not just a piece of paper that people will look at and say, what's this? But this is what the cybersecurity companies out there are looking for. Meanwhile, in the AP Business with Personal Finance, that doesn't have such a direct pathway, I guess you would say, into a credential. But what it does is it's teaching skills that kids are going to need if they're going into any kind of career: product development, marketing, finances, and capital acquisition. And one of the things this is going to do is it's going to set kids up to not only jump into a company, but to help rise up in the company. When you know these things, say if you're going to be a carpenter, you know these things, you're also going to be able to use those skills to help lead your company. And that's something employers are really looking for right now.
Absolutely. You can't stress enough for business and finance. That's something I spend a lot of time with in my business. Now, the cybersecurity course, I think, is critical for Colorado. Our state cyber sector already employs 85,000 workers with an average salary of $125,000, accounting for a $4.6 billion economic impact. And it's projected to grow 15% by 2027, according to your own reporting. And now, it's not just tech. The state's list of high-paying jobs with the most openings through 2033 include things like sales reps, accountants, even construction supervisors, and carpenters. Ed, does this move by the College Board help destigmatize these career paths that don't require a four-year degree?
Yeah, you know, we at the Chamber did a barnstorming tour not too long ago where we went out to districts around the state and said, you know, what are the biggest impediments to you finding people with the skilled talent that you need? And I remember someone out in Grand Junction saying that they would look at parents and they would say, do you want your kid to be a plumber? And the parents say, no, I don't want my kid to be a plumber. And they would say, well, do you want your kid to own a plumbing company? And they'd say, well, yeah, that'd be great. See, that's the thing. We've got to break down those first barriers to entry. And this AP business with personal finance course is going to give kids those skills. Say you are good at using your hands. You want to be a carpenter. You want to be a plumber. You want to be a welder. But you also want to grow up, as your parents are saying, to own your own company. These are the skills you're going to need to learn about how to do that. I think it's going to do very well to destigmatize the skilled trades, which should be seen as valuable as they are.
Yeah, a good job is a good job so long as it's meaningful for you. I want to ask you one more question about what is the business community doing to partner with K through 12 to build similar tracks for the skilled trades?
First of all, the business community is speaking out right now, and we've asked people, whether it be local businesses or local chambers who want to see these courses, to go to their local school districts and say, could you bring these in? But this is part of a bigger picture effort that includes the Regional Talent Development Summits. This is something that we at the Colorado Chamber worked very closely with the Office of Economic Development on earlier this year to bring together employers and educators and say, here's where the skills gaps are. How do we work in partnership to solve them? We're going to see some reports coming out next month that lay out 2- and 5-year plans to do that. But the idea is that the business community is asking the state, how do we sit down? How do we discuss getting the skills that are needed? And that's something that we're going to see continue.
Yeah, and this is a long-term issue. We have over 400,000 Coloradans set to retire in the next 10 years, which is going to open up a massive number of jobs that need to be filled in addition to this ongoing skills gap. Ed, we got to leave it there, and there's so much to think through. Building valuable skills that get high school students ready for high-demand careers seems to be the right move. Glad to hear you all at the Chamber are on track with that. As business keeps buzzing in Colorado, our goal is for you to stay informed, be engaged, and to get ahead of the game. So stay tuned for more business news and business discussion on the 9 News Business Buzz. For the 9 News Business Buzz, for my partner, Ed Sealover, I'm Ryan Frazier. See you next time.